Hi guys, welcome back to Battle with Ola. This is Mujela Olua and I'm so thrilled to be here once again. Today I want to talk about often overlooked matrimonial relief. It's contained in the Matrimonial Causes Act, and it is something that can prove very useful, for parties that were never married or that were married and now divorced. It's called Jactitation of marriage. Jactitation of marriage is a proceeding that can be commenced in court, whereby someone comes to court to ask the court to compel the other person to stop parading themselves as their husbands or their wives. So essentially, you're telling the court that I and this person are no longer married, or I and this person were never married. So please tell them to stop telling the world that they are my husband or my wife. So this can come up, with people who have built a reputation, who have a name to protect. So maybe the other person is parading themselves as their spouse and deriving certain benefits, thereof. So you're asking the court to make that declaration so that they can be precluded from enjoying those benefits that come to them by virtue of being identified or identifying themselves as being your wife or your husband. So that's what Jactitation of marriage is about. Any party can take out this proceeding, and usually I'd say that this usually affects women. If you know Said Balogun and Faithia Balogun, they are Nollywood actors in Nigeria. There was a time when it was rumored that one party had gone to court to take out Jactitation proceedings, to commence Jactitation proceedings against the other, namely the husband against the wife, saying that let her not parade herself as Faithia Balogun anymore because we are no longer married. I have not seen any court records to that effect, but it was rumored. So essentially what would have happened would have been that Faithia would no longer be able to call herself Faithia Balogun. She would now have to go back to Faithia Williams or whatever her name was, before her marriage to Said Balogun. And that would mean that all the things that were now associated with being Faithia Balogun, she would have to lose them. So sometimes women stand to lose more. If you remember Tina Turner's divorce, in the divorce, during her divorce, she asked the court for just to leave the marriage with just one thing, her name, Tina Turner, because going back to Anna Mae Bullock would have been very detrimental to her brand and to to what she stood for. She had a big break, and imagine if she had to go back to her former name. It would have caused confusion for her fans, and then there would have been a series of changing of names on documents and all of that. So it wouldn't have augured well for her. So it's contended that this might be a reason why some women, especially because it's the woman that takes the man's name in most cases. So it's a reason why some women don't even want to change their names, so that if they end up building up a brand for themselves around their husband's names and then the marriage breaks down, they do not want to lose that brand. They do not want someone to commence Jactitation proceedings against them so that they now confuse their fans as to, is this the same person? Is it not the same person? Take, for instance, Mo Abudu of Ebony Live TV. Imagine if her husband took out Jactitation proceedings and succeeded, asking her to stop calling herself or being addressed as Mo Abudu because she was no longer married to Tokunbo Abudu, the husband. She had built a brand for herself. Everybody knows Mo Abudu. She had moments with Mo. She has all these things that she had built. All these things she has built for herself in the entertainment industry. It would wreak a lot of havoc on her brand and cause a lot of confusion, within the entertainment circle and the general public, because people now would begin to wonder, who is she now? Who is she now? Is she the same person? How is she to be addressed? And so many things that have been that are accruing to that name. There would have to be a lot of changes, legal changes of name and identity and all of that. So it's it could get messy, and it's not exactly something that anybody wants. So but it is a protection under the law for someone who thinks or reasonably believes that the other person is profiting of the identity of having been married to them, especially if it's fraudulent. For instance, if a man and a woman were married, and maybe the husband had a property and the wife was collecting rents from the tenant as the wife of the landlord. So when they are no longer married, when the marriage has ended, if she continues to collect rents as the wife of the landlord, that will be fraudulent. So the husband can take out jactitation proceedings against her, to ask the court to compel her to stop parading herself as the wife to the landlord, so that she can stop collecting rent and carrying out whatever fraudulent activity she's carrying out under that name. So it could be for people who were never married. So if someone is parading themselves as being the husband or the wife to someone to whom they were never married, that person can go to court and take out jactitation proceedings that we were never even married. We were never married. And it could also be that the marriage has ended. Take Ariana Huffington of the Huffington Post fame, for instance. When she went through a divorce, imagine if she had to convert or change back to, her maiden name or her former name. It would have wreaked a lot of hardship. She worked a lot of hardship on her brand and the value that has been associated with the Huffington name, even though it was her husband's name. Men usually don't have this problem, but I was reading something at some point and I saw that Kofa Abayomi, the Kofa Abayomi close or avenue or road in Lagos, that the Abayomi, that Mr. Kofu actually took his wife's name. So let's say, for instance, she has built her fame around, the name, and then they had a divorce, God forbid, because I don't know their story, and then he was being compelled to lose the Abayomi name. Imagine the havoc it would wreak. It will still be the person that probably owns Kofa Abayomi Close or Kofa Abayomi Lane or Road, but now he would have changed to maybe Kofo something else. And if he had changed, people would now be confused that is this still the old Kofa Abayomi Road or Close that we're going to, or another one? So I'm just using that as an example for you to understand how it is. I cannot really confirm if he actually took his wife's name or if any of this scenario took place. It's just an example. So that's how to understand jactitation of marriage. It could be to prevent someone from using your name for fraudulent purposes, from holding themselves out to be your spouse when they are no longer your spouse under the law. And it could be a means for a petty spouse to deprive the other spouse of enjoying the benefits that they have worked assiduously to accrue to their own name while they were married to them. So that's what jactitation of marriage is. It is a matrimonial relief. It is something that you can do in Nigeria, and it is one of the reliefs provided for under the Matrimonial Causes Act, alongside reliefs like dissolution of marriage and judicial separation and restitution of conjugal rights. So I'll see you in my next video. Please like the video if you love what you've just seen, and don't forget to subscribe and bring a friend along. I will see you in my very next video. Toodles.